A lot of fun fights. Obviously, the main event was very exciting with Lorenzo Hunt retaining his cruiserweight championship. But let's go ahead and get you all the information that you want. We'll see if we can get all the awards for the night as well. So let's bring over our founder and CEO, Mr. David Feldman.
Thank you. Thanks, Cyrus. Good night here in Denver. Last time I was in this room was for the biggest event we've ever done, and that was a great night for us. Another good night for us tonight. We had an attendance of 5,200 and change, a sellout crowd here tonight for what we had it set up for. So we're very happy about that. We are going to evaluate the fight night bonuses as far as fight of the night goes, because I mean, I had guys that went out there and really tried, but nothing really stuck out to me as far as fight of the night. So we're going to reevaluate that to award that. But Andrew Strode, my man Andrew Strode, scored a devastating knockout. He's going to get a KO of the night bonus. There's also going to be a couple other KO bonuses as well. We had very good viewership tonight on Fubo TV and on the app. It was, I think, the third of all time so far. So what it's telling us is the BKFC, the brand, is really catching on right now. It's not just the fighters, you know, the big names. It's what I said is I wanted to build this thing from the bottom up, and what we're doing with the prospect series and the tryouts and things like that is really going to get this sport really where it needs to be. Next year in 2024, we're probably going to have, I think, 68 shows we have planned worldwide in 9 different countries next year. So BKFC and bare knuckles, the sport of bare knuckle is really growing worldwide, and we're very happy about that. But I'm really happy. I mean, the crowd here in Denver it's really second to none. You know, I think Albuquerque has an unbelievable crowd as well, but Denver, man, you guys just moved that noise needle to another level. So, you know, very happy with that. The guys did come out and fight. I don't want to take anything away from the fighters. They came out. The guys and girls came out and fought tonight. You know, but as you're building this sport, you know, I think I'm spoiled, and I want every fight to be fighted at night, and sometimes I get a little disappointed when they're not. But I take my hats off to these guys and girls, because it's a different kind of person that's willing to step inside this square circle and fight bare knuckle. It's not an average MMA guy or an average boxer. It's a different type of person. And we see, as you saw with the co-main event of Josh Copeland knocking out former cruiserweight boxing world champion, you saw that it's just different. It's a different type of sport here, and you need to be a different person. You need to have different heart and different balls, and these guys and girls do, and I'm very happy about that, and I'm very happy to have them on the roster. And, you know, again, happy about the night. You guys got any questions for me?
Hi, Dan Cool, Combat Press. Were you surprised at that fight, the one with the Copeland fight, the way that it went down?
You know,
I mean, did you expect that Aurelius was going to fight like that?
You know, I saw the dog come out in Josh Copeland on his last fight when he fought Ben Rothwell, and I knew he had it in him. You know, you didn't know what Steve Herlanus was going to come out, if he was really going to come out and try to engage. He didn't throw a lot of punches, and he gave Josh a chance for the opening, and Josh came out and took charge and did what he had to do. Am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised. You know, I thought Josh had it in him, and, you know, we like Josh here. We love Josh here, really, in Denver especially, and, you know, I was happy to see him. I know he had some personal issues that went on this week, so, you know, we'd like for him to come out on top with a nice win. Go one more.
Could you get a little more into Lorenzo Hunt's performance, him always trying to redefine what greatness is here in BKFC?
Yeah, you know, look, like I said, I don't want to come off the wrong way, but for a championship fight, I wasn't ecstatic about that fight, to be honest with you. I thought that both of them could have let it hang out just a little bit more. You know, you're fighting for the world championship. You're not fighting for another fight. You're not fighting for a little extra money. Fighting for the world championship, and I think that you got to be ready to go out on your shield to fight for the world championship, especially in bare knuckle. I don't think they did that tonight. I thought that they fought a good fight. I thought that they gave both of them gave each other a little bit too much respect tonight, and I think that's what caused it not to be the most exciting fight in BKFC history. But all in all, it was a decent championship fight.
Kyle Mish from Mission Accomplished here. In that title fight, we had two guys that were very equal in skill, and they played it conservative, and it went all 5 rounds to a split decision. I know that the ABC just came up with a unified set of rules, but is there a possibility in the future of a 7-round title fight in your organization where these two guys can fight a couple more rounds than regular fights?
No, there isn't. I think that we got the recipe right here for 5 rounds. I think that at the end of 5 rounds, both of those guys were pretty spent, and I think if we make them go 7 rounds, they could be overspent. And I think we got it defined perfectly. You know, we have that rule that if it's a draw after 5 rounds, we go to the 6th round. I just think 7 rounds is too much for these guys. I know some other organizations are toying with that, but you know, we did our math. We had the best physician in the world, Dr. Don Muzi, on our team, and his recommendation is to keep everything the same, and that's what we're going to do. Like I said, I think we have a recipe for success, and it's showing. I mean, there wasn't an empty seat in the house tonight.
We're going to do one more.
Jake Fenner with the Weekly Bust. Sorry about that. Would you say, even though the fight didn't go down the way that you wanted it to, would you say that Lorenzo is not only the face of BKFC, but the fist as well?
I mean, I think that Lorenzo, look, you don't have to come out here and you don't have to give the best performance of the night every single time. So he's entitled to have a performance where he boxes a little differently, does things a little different. Lorenzo always fought anybody I've ever asked him to fight. He came in there, he literally got his ass kicked for a whole entire round from pillar to post and knocked out Mike Richmond at the end of that. I mean, the guy is a face of bare knuckle. He's a face of BKFC, and it's a pleasure to work with him. And you know, everybody's entitled to have not the best night in the world, and I don't think he had the best night in the world tonight, but that doesn't take away from all his accomplishments. I think he's 12-1 now. He has the most bare knuckle fights in BKFC, really in bare knuckle history, in modern day bare knuckle history. So I definitely take my hat off to that guy. I love him. I mean, he's part of the team. He's been here since the beginning, and he's grown with us, and you know, I'm happy for what he's accomplished so far.
Ladies and gentlemen, BKFC President David Feldman. Josh Copeland. We got Josh Copeland next, winner of the co-main event. Any questions?
Hey Josh, great fight. Ryan from Denver Sports Betting. Win or lose, you always look like you're having fun out there. What about BKFC makes that happen for you?
I've always enjoyed competing. I know I've never been the best, but I never quit. Keep going, and I definitely feel as though I am where I am today just because I'm a true testament to I'm not the biggest, strongest, fastest, but if you keep plugging away, you can accomplish your dreams. So for me, BKFC, it's actually really fun. I enjoy it, so I'm thankful there.
Micah Frankel, CageMinds.com. Josh, we know this was a big week fighting here in Denver and also a hard week on you going through some personal tragedy. Could you speak about the hurdles you had to overcome this week to have this performance?
Yeah, I woke up Sunday, went to church, came home, took my son to the Rockies game, and had some friends text me where my roommate was and told him that I hadn't seen him all day, and I heard him come home late. It was right at 4 a.m. on Sunday morning, and I heard him upstairs, so I knew he was home. And when I came home from the Rockies game, the cops were there, and he had passed away in his sleep. So I've had, I don't know, right at 30 professional fights, and there's so many things that you go through, and like experience can lead you through a lot, and this was the first time that I went through something like that. So he was a great friend and a great man, so it's definitely a hard loss.
Hey Josh, Dan Cool, Combat Press. You've always had this style of fighting, even in MMA, where you like to step forward, dig in, push. It's one of the most exciting things to watch you fight like that. Were you expecting that to work as well against a former professional boxing champion?
Man, I know I'm a bull when I go forward, and God's blessed me with a head and a chin that can take shots. So my coach, Rick, he gets mad at me. He's like, be an athlete, move your head, stop taking shots. And a lot of times the shots really don't hurt, so I just go into them, and it's worked well so far. So yeah, I like being a bull anyways.
With the heavyweight belt kind of in limbo right now, where do you see your standing in regards to getting a crack at it?
Hey, I know that I can compete with the best in the world, and I know, of course, my dream is to get the belt. Expand my platform, be able to love and encourage people to pursue their dreams. So if God has that in his will in the future, I'd be honored for sure.
Josh Copeland, everybody. We're going to bring up his opponent, Steve Aurelius, from Miami by way of France. Any questions?
Hello, guys.
Hey, Steve. Dan Cool with Combat Press. How did you feel about fighting bare knuckle?
That shit is good. But I don't go to let this. I never let my kids do this. Never. I don't understand why these people, I don't know why I do this. But no, it's good. But no, I don't let my kids do this. No way. No way. I can't believe. I'm crazy.
Micah Frankel, CageMinds.com, back here, Steve. Noticed in the second round, it looked like you may have popped your own finger back in place.
My finger. I can show you my finger. Normally I have to do this like that. But now my finger is a risk of the boxing.
Later in the fight, you were almost taunting your opponent by dangling your chin in front of him.
Can you repeat that?
You were dangling your chin in front of your opponent later on in the fight, almost taunting him with your hands by your side. Was there a reason for that?
No, it's me. I love to talk like that. I love to play with my opponent. I'm like that. Like I said, I go to say, I respect my opponent. I respect Joyce. And I said, I'm a cat. And you know the cats. If you give the mouse for the cat, you don't go to kill him directly. You go to play with him. And this is what I love to do. This is what I did in the boxing. Unfortunately, here is not the boxing. I should fight him directly.
We got one more question.
Clay with Knuckle Up Media. Steve, it seems like you were real upset when the ref stopped the fight. How do you feel about it?
Who tell you I'm upset? I'm not upset. I'm not upset. You know what? I go tell you something. A champion have to know to lose. I was champion. I lose many times. And when you lose, you learn. Me, I don't lose if I don't learn nothing. No. So now, Josh, he was very good. He's very strong. Boxing is not the same. Now with a glove. But no, I respect Josh. Josh is a good fighter. I love what he did. Unfortunately, I don't love too much, but I love a little bit. And that's it.
Steve Aurelius, everybody.
Thank you.
Strode, is there any questions?
Kyle Mish from Mission Accomplished here. Andrew, we talked already about this, but can you talk a little bit about the hurdles that you had to go through over the last year of your life, the struggles that you overcame, and the perseverance that you showed to come out here and get the win?
I want to thank God foremost for everything, but I was battling depression and trauma the last year. I lost my ex and my son recently, a year and a half ago in a car accident, and been losing like family members like left to right, and that been the biggest motivation of my life, you know what I mean? So like this fight was, I want to base off for like people that were going through things, trauma, depression, you know, you could do anything, man. I came from nothing, like literally nothing, like just nothing, and this is a dream come true, because I never thought I was gonna be here, you know what I mean?
Micah Frankel, Cage Minds. Wanted to get a quick reaction from you, Andrew, on the Fight of the Night bonus. You the only one to get the bonus right away tonight.
Yeah, I felt, it feels good, you know what I mean? But this is just a start, you know what I mean? I'm here to stay for BKFC, and I want to be the best fighter here, you know what I mean? So this is just a start.
You had a real quick start in this fight. Was that the game plan coming into this?
No, not really. I was just taking it time by time, punch by punch, being cautious of everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Strode. BJ, you've picked up a couple guys in a BKFC roster, obviously coming from a boxing pedigree. What has drawn you over to this sport?
First of all, I want to thank everybody, the city of Denver, an amazing performance, amazing show tonight. Chris Camozzi has got an incredible amount of heart, and he put up a hell of a fight and deserves all the respect in the world. It was a great fight, and congratulations to Chris and his entire team. I know a lot of work goes into a fight like this, and congratulations. I don't know, I think if you watch the undercard and you kind of see the passion that these guys have coming over and the willingness to fight anybody, I think it makes it a very endearing sport, a sport that even regardless of what background you come from, you can always appreciate people who are passionate about what they're doing and are so into what their daily life is, and I feel like that just gravitates people to this sport of bare knuckle. I've known David Feldman for almost 15 years. He's a great person. He's a very motivated guy, and he's really got some legs on this thing, and I think it's going places. So it's a lot of fun to be a part of. I've been Lorenzo's manager now for 3 months. We just started working together, but we've got a game plan. We're very excited, and also Brutal Jake Bostwick. So I'm looking forward to working with these guys and taking them as far as they can go.
Kyle Mish from Mission Accomplished.
How you doing, Kyle?
BJ, you have been around for a long time. You've trained a lot of people. You've trained with a lot of killers. Can you talk about the work ethic that Lorenzo Hunt has? The stories are out there about how hard this guy trains. What sets him apart from people that you've trained with in the past?
I mean, I think he's one of those guys that really, he's really fallen in love with the process. Some people, they get so worried about when I get here or when I get there, and Lorenzo Hunt really wakes up every day and enjoys his life and enjoys his job. He enjoys bare knuckle fighting. He enjoys being the face of bare knuckle. He enjoys taking these tough challenges like Chris Camozzi, a guy with all the experience that Chris had in the MMA world and in his kickboxing days. I mean, this guy was very tough. It's a very hard challenge, and Lorenzo embraces it, and he gets excited about the challenge, and I think that's what keeps him so young at heart, and that's why he's such a great person for the BKFC, because he's very excited about his daily life, and he's excited to be a part of this growing business.
BJ Flores, everybody.
Thanks.
Marcus Edwards. We're going to bring Marcus Edwards. Marcus, in your fight, it seemed like you hit him with everything, and you just couldn't make him fall. How were your hands by the end of that fight?
So yeah, first round came out. Unfortunately, broke, dislocated something in my left hand. Already dealing with something in my right hand, so it was just, you know, didn't feel like I could hit him with much. Just pick my shots, play the footwork, and get out there and you know, just have a good time. I wasn't worried about trying to put him down too much. He was running, so I just stayed away from the chase and just tried to play the boxing game.
We got Jake Fenner with the weekly bust over there, man. It was a great fight, by the way. You were throwing so much power behind those punches. It looked like a time or two you almost went flying out of the ring. Was that a little bit of jitters, or what was kind of going on?
No, I think I got frustrated a couple times where it's like, dude, I'm trying to fight. I'm not trying to chase. I expected him to meet me in the middle and us just throw and get after it. He talked a lot, so. I expected him to, stand behind what he said and stay in the center and get after it. I don't really like to chase guys, especially if they're talking mess. So, I think maybe I got a little frustrated and tried to close the distance a little too quick and maybe got off my footing.
What about the Denver elevation? Did it affect you at all, especially with your output?
Oh, no. I felt great. I felt like I was right where I needed to be. I could have went 5 more rounds, it felt like. I felt good. Cardio was great.
Kyle Mish, mission accomplished. Marcus, we talked before this fight. You felt extremely disrespected by your opponent. Yeah. It went all 5 rounds. You didn't expect it to go all 5 rounds. Did you get a little respect out of the kid after the fight? Did you guys talk about it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And afterwards, every fighter talks or says, what's up to each other at the end. And we said what's up, and I told him, I was like, hey man, you didn't have to talk all that mess, man. We could have still got it in. And he apologized and pretty much was like, it's part of the game. And I'm like, yeah, got after it, but next time stand in the middle and fight and don't run. So, that's just the way it goes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring up our champion, Lorenzo Hunt. Just got finished getting stitched up. Lorenzo, the game plan of Chris Camozzi seemed to be the clinch. You seem to have nullified that. How difficult was it?
Shout out to Chris Camozzi for coming over to bare knuckle and having the heart and the courage to challenge the best in the world. I mastered nullifying the clinch actually after my first fight with Reggie Pena. He used a heavy rear hand clinch and continuous striking. I just had to stay calm and take the open shots.
Kyle Mish, mission accomplished. Lorenzo, you did it again. You defended your 205 title. You've pretty much done everything you said you were going to do in the BKFC so far. So I guess the only question is, what's next?
It's never been up to me. And the people who run BKFC call my name. I've never not once turned down a fight. Never, not short notice, not bigger guy, taller guy, smaller guy, stronger guy. I've always shown up. I've always signed a contract, and I will continue to do so. Bare knuckle is home.
Jake Fenner with the weekly bust. First off, thanks for the money. It was fun taking some cheddar from the locals here. After this win, just plain and simple, does anyone dare come for the champ? Are you the best pound for pound fighter that we have in BKFC?
I am the best possible me. That's all that matters to me. I train in order to be the best possible me at all time. I don't train for any of these guys specifically. Bare knuckle will be here forever, and they will talk about me forever. I am the most dominant fighter to ever grace the sport of bare knuckle.
Lorenzo, people talk about the elevation here. You actually did your camp in Puerto Rico with Elvin Brito. It seems to be a location where a lot of the champions are going right now. Why don't you talk about the process of training in Puerto Rico?
Elvin Brito is a master, and he actually lives in actual paradise on earth. Not only is it has it always been a dream of mine to travel the world. But to travel the world and fight and train and do what I love to do is the pinnacle of success. I also trained here in Denver, in Salida for 2 weeks. I went up the mountain. I ran the 14K with the 14ers jiu-jitsu. We went up to the top of the mountain with Doolittle, and we sparred at 14,000 feet just in case the altitude would be an issue. And as you can see, the altitude was not an issue. Like I said, I wasn't born the best in the world. I'm the best in the world because I fight hard, I train hard, and I love what I do. And if you love what you do, don't ever let no one deter you.
Lorenzo, Micah Frankel, Cage Minds. We know that there was a lot of talk about when would you defend this title. You've overcome the challenge of Chris Camozzi, defended your title in a gritty fight. How do you feel this adds to the lore of your legacy?
Chris Camozzi has had an amazing career, over 50-something UFC and other kickboxing matches. He's been all over the world in some of the top organizations in the world. Some of those same organizations that passed up on me. I was told I was a one-trick pony by the UFC because all I knew how to do was knock people out. They weren't impressed with my jiu-jitsu game. I was also turned down by a few of the kickboxing organizations that Chris Camozzi fought for. With that being said, I dominated in local promotions in MMA, and I even fought for David Feldman's promotion in MMA as a pro MMA fighter. I lost to Joey Pfeiffer, who's in the UFC now, rear naked choke. But I am the best in the world at knocking people out and putting my hands on people, and it shows. Never give up. Never give up, and you will be a champion too.
Lorenzo, Cyrus here with BKFC. I have a question. With the heavyweight division the way it is right now, nobody knows what's going on with that championship. Are you still interested in that fight? Is that still a big goal for you, or do you want to stick with the divisions you're in right now?
I would love to be the first ever 3C champ in bare knuckle history. It is a honor and for me to be the only person who can physically, mentally, and even attempt to reach such heights. I would say that BKFC owes me, but they don't owe me anything. I'm the best in the world at 185. I'm the best in the world in 205, and I will be the best in the world at heavyweight if only given the chance. Make a heavyweight fight for me, and I'll show you again and again and again why I am the best bare knuckle fighter in the world.
Hey, Lorenzo, Dan Cool, Combat Press. Who designed the walkout? Was that your idea? Was that somebody else's idea?
Did you guys like it? Yeah. You know what I mean? I love to put on a show. I believe that this is not just about blood and guts and glory. I believe this is about entertainment, and if you look at my BKFC career, even when I was just a 2-and-1 guy, I still was putting on shows. I still was paying dancers out of my own pocket, and I believe the entertainment aspect. I bring my children here. What part of the show is for them? What part of the show is for the children that you brought, right? So I brought the Juggernaut mascot, and I rapped the song, and we got a song and dance, and everybody got to have fun even before we tried to kill each other. I believe that that is a very, very important aspect of the show.
They were shocked to hear about the split decision. They felt like you were just dominating the fight. Were you shocked at all?
I was definitely shocked. I have fought with the pressure behind me to knock my opponents out for fear that the judges would choose to go against me. I have played the role of a heel in many of the places that I've been. It's not because I'm a villain. I'm actually a hero in my own mind. But whenever you travel to somebody else's state and you fight their favorite sons, it kind of makes you a villain. But I always put them down because I'm afraid of the judges, honestly. And they got it right this time.
You already know, bro. Congratulations, Bones to Domes podcast. So basically all your fights have been away. Do you finally get your fight now at home in Jacksonville?
I have no idea. I'm the best fighter in the world, not necessarily the best at putting on shows or renting venues or running the show. I leave all of that to David Feldman and Dave Jr. and the people at Triller. They've done an amazing job. The staff has done an amazing job. like I said, I just love it here. And wherever they go, I'll go because I can fight in outer space. I can fight underwater. I can fight on ice. I can fight in Russia. We can go overseas, and I'll show you again and again and again. I'm the best bare knuckle fighter in the world. I'm not going nowhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, your champion, Lorenzo Hunt. We're gonna bring up Chris Camozzi, his opponent.
Come on, Chris.
What's up?
Now you guys see how much bigger he is.
It's a big motherfucker, bro. Chris, Lorenzo is usually really in your face, somebody that kind of draws emotion out of people. He seemed to give you a lot of respect going into this. Were you surprised?
A little bit. You know, I got a lot of respect for him too. I said it before. You know, what he's done is a great job. I did what I had to do to get into this fight. You know, I've had a really long career, and one thing I learned along the way is that I didn't really talk enough before, and you don't get what you don't ask for. So that's why I had to start asking for it and start chirping about it. Hats off to him. You know, he had a good game plan. I had planned for him to do quite a few things that he didn't do, and I didn't make the adjustments I needed. You know, I thought the fight could have gone either way, but I got to go back and watch it.
Clay with Knuckle Up Media. Your last statement, you pretty much said what I was going to ask. Did you think you did enough to win this fight?
I did. You know, I thought I was a bit more active. He landed some solid shots. I felt his power. You know, I can feel it again now. After he landed that first punch, I knew that he couldn't hurt me. So, yeah, you know, I haven't seen it yet, but in my eyes, I thought I did enough to win. I thought I was more active. I thought I was pushing him. But, you know, the judges didn't, so what do I do about that?
Hey, Chris, Dan Cool, Combat Press. David mentioned earlier that he expected more action in that fight going into it. Did it play out how you expected it to, or did you think there was also going to be potentially some more action?
No, it didn't play out at all the way I thought. You know, maybe we both went in there thinking the same thing. You know, my last fight, I lunged in quite a bit more than I wanted to, and he was probably waiting for me to do that, and I was waiting for him to do the same. He did a good job controlling the distance. You know, I thought I'd land my jab a lot more, and he was in and out. He's quick on his feet for sure. Yeah, it's a tough one to swallow for sure, but yeah, I thought I did enough to win, but it doesn't matter what I think.
Chris, Jake Fenner with the Weekly Bust. It's not necessarily a question, just more of giving you some flowers. There's not a lot of men, probably in the world, let alone the BKFC, that could go 5 rounds with the champ like that. Congratulations. You know, I know you didn't get the win, but what's next for you after this?
Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, there's not a lot of men that will knock me out either because it hasn't happened yet. What's next for me is, you know, I know he was calling himself the career killer, but I'm not done. I'll be back. I'm not even that banged up. I got some stitches, but honestly, the last 2 fights were probably the first time I haven't gotten stitches in years. I was actually surprised after coming to bare knuckle and not getting stitched up in the first 2 fights. So, you know, I got a few. I made my girlfriend Whitney here count them. That way I know how many to take out this week. But I think there was 7 or something, right? I hope you wrote it down. That way we don't have any missing in my forehead.
Micah Frankel, Cage Minds, right here in the middle, Chris. Do you feel like you needed to take more chances? Are you already reflecting on it that you wish you would have went a little more offensively forward in the fight?
Yeah, I think so. I got to watch it back. You know, the hindsight's always easier. it's a weird game of distance. I think that a lot of people don't realize with fighting is everybody thinks like, why aren't you being more active? But if you watch us fight, every time I come in, you know, he was quick on the back step or off. And same with when he came in on me, you know, we're both popping back. So I think those are some of the things people never see, and they just wonder why there's not more action. But they call football a game of inches, and I think fighting has always been, you know, a game of millimeters. So there's a lot more that goes into that than people realize. And, you know, that won't matter to the people listening, but it's different when you're in there.
Hey, Chris, mission accomplished here. You took him the distance. It was a split decision. He's basically beat everybody else in the division already. Do you feel like you did enough tonight to get a rematch with the champ, get another shot at it?
You know, I'll run it back any day of the week. Who else is there, you know? That's the thing is, I would say that's a big reason why I got this. One is 2 first-round finishes, and 2, he has handily beat everybody else, and nobody else is asking for it. You know, there's guys in the rankings right now that haven't fought for BKFC in, I don't know, a year or 2. So we'll see. You know, there's other guys I'm sure that have fights coming up that will put on big statements. You know, even my teammate Keegan, he had a great performance, and absolutely, you know, if they call me and want that rematch, I'll take it any day. We can go to Jacksonville and do it, you know, since he came here. Respect to him for coming here too. I was actually surprised about that because he's the champion, so it's not very often that the champion will come to the challenger's hometown.
Chris Cyrus with BKFC. Quick question, just being a part of this organization, the way it's been growing like it has, what's that been like for you? You've been a part of, you know, some of the biggest and best organizations in the world. Just talk about your experience here in BKFC. And is there anybody from your past or anybody from some of these other shows that you'd like to see come in to this show?
First part of that question, you know, I think it's amazing what BKFC is doing. I'd love to see him get into Vegas. Listen, if slap fighting is legal in Vegas, there's absolutely no reason bare knuckle shouldn't be. At least you get defense in bare knuckle, or attempted defense. But what was the second part of the question?
Is there anybody that, you know, that's in some of these other organizations that you'd like to see come into BKFC? Not necessarily even for you to fight, but just that you'd like to see come in here.
Oh, I mean, there's a ton, you know. Some guys aren't done over in the UFC and everything, but, you know, Justin Gaethje's one of them. You know, he's a hometown guy. That guy brings the violence. I think he would be, you know, he's already a star, but he'd be a superstar here too. Guys like Robbie Lawler, I don't know if he's done fighting yet, but there's so many guys. For me particularly, I don't know. Anybody that's ever beat me, I'd always like to fight again. You know, I don't go away. I'm not leaving this whole thing and not saying Lorenzo's name anymore. I'm still coming for that belt, you know. I feel like I've been getting better as I get older, and I'm not done yet at all. You know, I got a few years left in me, and I want to be happy with my career by the end, and I'm not going to be happy until I have that belt.
There it is, folks. Let's hear it for Chris Camozzi.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys, that is going to do it for us here on the post-event press conference. Thank you for everybody that came out, all the media that came out here and asked questions. We will see you next week in Salem, Virginia for BKFC 51.